Oh, holy hell, I think we're live. Where's 4K, Vito? What the hell? Only HD? What is this, 2007? Damn it, Vito.
In the center of attention, we have Brad and Josh joining today.
Oh, people are saying they can't hear you.
No sound.
Speak, Vito, speak. Let's see if they hear you now.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Vito sound strikes again. Awesome.
Hey.
No, I guess we have to wait. Okay, they can hear. Okay, so
now, so should we start over?
Google was
always
being
professional,
dumb, I guess.
Yeah,
they're totally professional.
We'll come to expect this. I think.
Take two.
Take two. Hey everyone, welcome to Cast Strength with HD Vito, Brad, and Josh.
HD Vito.
Woohoo!
Woo! So welcome back, everybody. Good to have you all. The chat's been nice and active, which is really nice to see.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
A bunch of people in here.
Crazy active. Like even like a half hour ago, it was active. People are insane.
Yeah. Well, good to see everybody. We got who do we got in here? We got Whiskey Wise, who busted our balls about not calling us out before. So Whiskey Wise, we know is Mitch. Hi, Mitch. How's it going?
Hey, Mitch.
Hi,
we love you.
Who else we got in here? Adam Brudner and
Mike Lissack.
Yep.
Mr. Chad Hawley.
Jeremy Sims.
Yeah, so we've got a full house, which is awesome.
So Gretchen is here for some reason. I don't know. She was saying she wasn't going to show up earlier, but I guess she did.
That's right. She almost didn't make it, I think.
Which is weird because she's upstairs right now, isn't she?
Huh?
She's upstairs right now, isn't she?
Yeah, I think so.
So how could you not join in on apparently you woke her up from her nap. Well, this is better than a nap, as the tens of you can attest.
Disagree. Go have a nap. That's fine.
Yeah. If you were to sleep before, just give it about a half hour of listening to us talk, and you'll probably be asleep then.
Yep.
Don't scare away the
sounds about right. Look, if you're having trouble sleeping, it's okay.
Yeah.
There's like 6 previous episodes. But you won't get through even one, so you're good. You got plenty of sleep aids.
So, Brad, I assume you're in an undisclosed location in a safe house somewhere.
No, I escaped back to Canada finally. It's been a while. It's been a while. I have been all over the place the last couple of weeks. Had a trip to Toronto to see all Vito and Adam and a whole bunch of Toronto people. Of course, Adam didn't bother showing up, but what could you do?
Adam, I take my fist angrily at you.
And then I got home, and then a day later, I left for Austin to go do the level 2 Psalm stuff, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And hang out with Josh, and a whole bunch of people, showed up to hang out then. That was cool.
Right in this very room.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I went home for 2 days, and then I left for Pennsylvania to go do fake American Thanksgiving with the in-laws and meet up with the Cult of Ardbeg people, and drank a lot of whiskey then too. Also, so my liver is very, very tired. But that's not going to stop me from drinking a lot of Octomore in the next hour or so.
It's just training. You were just training for this moment, I think.
It was a training montage.
Yeah.
Speaking of Octomore, let's let the people know individually what we all have in front of us. I'm going to start first because mine is much less impressive than your two, so I'm just going to get overshadowed by you anyways. So
isn't that the truth?
Yeah, it is. You lucky bastards, you. So I have Octomore 7.1 with me right now. It's in my glass currently. and I have a small wee sample of Octomore 10 that Mr. Brad was generous enough to hand off to me. So yeah, so I have 2 Octomores that I'm going to be drinking tonight.
Nice. Well, I have those. I have the 7.1, which is what I have in my glass right now. And I've got the 10 as well, although it's feeling very light, so I don't know how much is left.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing about these Octomore bottles. You can never really tell, at least with the black ones, you can't tell what's in there.
Scratch the black off. A lot of people will like scratch a line through.
Yeah, I think we talked about that in one of our previous videos, but I will just interrupt really quickly, Brad. Sorry. As professional as we are, your video feed is not synced up all the way to your voice.
Interesting.
Apparently.
Interesting. I'm not sure why that would be, but I could try to play with it in a second.
All right. Anyways, continue on.
I also have the 8.1, which I will have a little bit of in a bit.
Right on. Well, I've got, what do I have over here? Got 7.1, 7.3, 8.3, and the 10-year.
So lots of Octomore.
All the Octomore. Well, not all the Octomore, but a lot of the Octomore.
A lot of the Octomore.
Yes.
I mean, if there was any more Octomore, we'd be Octa crazy.
Oh,
that was awful. That was just absolutely terrible. I immediately regret that one.
You should apologize.
You know what that almost reminds me of? That reminds me of Pitch Perfect, where they like try to like acapella everything to like words. So like excuse me and
yeah, that's rough. Okay,
oh my goodness!
Are the words coming out at the right time now? I wonder.
Oh my goodness!
Set my cam.
Your cam is. Please start my mini cam.
No, Adam's saying that Brad is an octo dad.
Ooh,
that has so many.
That's like the Octomom, but he's just the dad version.
The Octodad is an octopus that is pretending to be a human dad, which is actually a hilarious game. But yeah, I'm not sure how to take that. I accept your compliment, sir.
Just take it as a compliment. Why not?
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah, just do it. I want to directly single out Daniel Treadwell for saying there is no excuse for knowing anything about Pitch Perfect. There is one excuse that we will not discuss.
Oh, please bring it on.
No, we will not. This is a G-rated stream.
Since the fuck when?
It's PG-13. How about that?
13. The only excuse would be for a significant other. So that is all I will say.
Fair.
Okay.
Fair. Vito doesn't kiss and tell.
I do not. I am a gentleman.
He's a gentleman.
A professional gentleman.
Sure.
Of course. So we were going to pour, did you already pour the 7.1?
I did, and I just took a drink of it.
So
all right.
Delicious.
I am lagging behind. So I'll pour a bit for myself. So, I mean, let's talk about the how these guys, how they're presented, man. Like, obviously, the most gorgeous bottles.
The bottles are crazy. Yeah,
I love the
they
bottles.
look so amazing.
So cool.
Even though you can't tell how much is left, but that's fine.
And of course, Octomore is the super heavily peated Bruichladdich expression, right? This one's 208 ppm, and of course, ppm is one of those things. It's hard to define what that even means, but it's in terms of how it comes across in the taste. And I think they're all cask strength. I believe, yeah. I mean, this one's 59.5%. So beautiful bottle, super heavily peated, cask strength. I mean, you really can't ask for a whole lot more than that. And even though it's 5 years old for this one, they put it right on the bottle age statement. So you know exactly kind of the provenance of this bottle, exactly where it came from, exactly how old it is, exactly how heavily peated it is.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's very, very cool.
It's good to see that from distilleries, especially Bruichladdich, which is getting their name back out there after some time closed. So it's appreciated by the people that really care about stuff like that.
Exactly.
And considering how peated they are, like it's just so well balanced. It doesn't feel super highly peated.
No.
I mean, I think it comes across more like it's not even smoky. It's more very earthy.
Super earthy and
just sort of
rich.
complex. I don't know. You could describe it 100 different ways, probably, right?
Yeah.
There's so much going on in there.
Well, I know one way Brad could describe it.
That's true. That's true.
Oh, Brad, use your new level 2. Oh, we didn't say anything. Let's all congratulate Brad for graduating the level 2 SOM course.
Hell yeah.
He is now even more professional than before.
Twice as professional, at least mathematically speaking.
It's double. Yeah, exactly.
And the chain is hilarious. It's actually a double chain because they couldn't get thick chains for whatever reason this round. So it
kind of makes you like the Mr. T of whiskey now.
It's a little bit. It's like Mr. T, Flava Flav kind of deal, but for whiskey.
Flava Flav, yeah, that's definitely a good reference as well.
Yeah. Look, listen,
I want to try something out really quickly because
Flava
Brad
Flav
mentioned
now, so
it.
I get those references. What's that, Vito?
No, I'm sorry, I spoke over you. So please level 2 SOM.
God, no. Talk more so I don't have to, please. Vito, save me. Save me. I've been gone for so long I forget how to talk to humans. I only know how to drink with them.
You're lucky we
that's all
haven't
I've been
fired you
doing.
now. 2 weeks away.
Jason Busey in the chat is wondering which Octomore it's. This is 7.1 at the moment.
I think we're all 3 of us are doing 7.1 right now, right?
Yeah. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Okay, so Brad, sorry, continue your tasting notes, and I'm gonna do something and show everyone when I'm done.
My tasting notes? Well, I would go with say you're like frying a whole bunch of pork, and you just fry it just a little too much, and the grease just starts to get that little bit crusty and dark, and that the smell just wafts everywhere. It's that kind of like the leftover crusty, pork leftovers.
Like just slightly burnt bacon?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, it always kind of reminds me of like if I cook bacon or like maybe pork sausage on over charcoal on the grill, it gets like a lot of smoke and a bit of ash on it. Yeah. Always reminds me of that. But there's something also kind of hiding in the background behind all of those, big aggressive flavors. It's a bit like floral and sweet at the same time.
It is. Yeah. It's super like amazingly balanced. So like as peaty and strong as the flavors are, there is a lot of other things going on in the background.
Right.
There's exactly. It's not like a sugar sweetness, but like there's definitely a sweet thing on the back end a little bit.
Yeah, you can still kind of pick up on the malty character in there, even just as heavy as the smoke and the peat notes are.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It was something that I don't normally do all that often, but I'm kind of coming around to. I've watched like a few Ralphie videos and things like that where he describes adding water to whiskey, and it's just not something that I do that often. I just, never really liked the results that much, but the more that I try it and the more I really focus on it, it can, with certain whiskeys, really make a difference, even like adding just a little bit. And I tried it with Clynelish 14 earlier today, and I thought it did a really interesting things to that. So I wanted to pop some in the 7.1 here.
Oh, have you not added water to an Octomore yet?
Not that I recall, but I mean, with a heavily peated whiskey like this, I expect it to make it more aggressive at first, right?
It's crazy. It's gonna be a ride for you, I think.
All right, so I got this little dropper. I'm just gonna do like 3 drops, maybe.
I mean, I've never done that either, but I really do that with any whiskey.
Yeah, there's so much like high oil content, and it's so balanced against the peat that the water just breaks the balance and does crazy things with the level of peatiness.
I did see an interesting comment in the chat earlier. It was John V. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce your last name because just like mine, apparently it's unpronounceable.
Versemmer.
Yeah,
Sounds right.
something where after a certain point of ppm or that your taste buds really just can't tell the difference. I can see
believe it.
that. I mean,
believe it.
Level up your Somm game, son.
yeah, that's what the chain helps with.
Yeah.
Upgrade those taste buds, man.
Yeah. So,
I mean, Adam
yeah.
could probably tell the difference because Adam is an insane tasting note machine. But
Yeah.
for mere mortals,
Oh, yeah.
they're probably.
So I really want to just clarify what I was doing because a couple of people said, "What am I looking at?" I was looking down. I was actually in the process of scratching out a little portion of the Octomore finish so that I can see how much I have left, and it actually works. Unfortunately, because the backside is also extremely dark, not very much light gets through to see it, but you can just sort of make out where the level is.
Oh, neat. Well, maybe if you did some on both sides, it would work.
Yeah, if you do
like,
it on
look
both sides,
through
it would
it,
probably be better.
basically.
But yeah, it took a little bit of effort too. It wasn't exactly easy.
Yeah, these are almost they almost are powder coated or something. I'm sure that's
Yeah.
probably not it, but
Yeah,
they kind of remind me of powder coated metal, right?
yeah, it's weird. Sorry, Jason. Busey, Jason B. I want to know how much I have left, and I have a lot left, which makes me very happy.
Kenneth Kennelty just suggested using a dipstick. So,
Hey,
Could
no,
be a
like
new-
you're
could
changing
be
the
an
oil
idea.
because
Yeah,
I mean,
oil
Could
to
be an
oil
idea.
makes some bit of sense.
time
Yeah.
to check the Octomore.
Oh, Mr. Wade Condor has joined us as well.
Caw!
Caw!
Yeah, use your dipstick, Vito.
Oh boy.
Use it.
No.
I thought we were sticking with PG-13. What? This is going to be very, very awkward very quickly.
Hey, innuendos doesn't get us
after the
started.
next Octomore.
Right, yeah, you'll need a few more Octomores to do that.
Won't take that many. I mean, they're pretty high ABV.
Yeah, the water definitely, I just swirled it around, kind of mixing it back up again, but the water definitely, kind of cracks it open and revealed some stuff that was kind of trapped in there before. I think it got, I got more of the meaty notes that you were describing, Brad, kind of came out. I don't know. Have you tried adding any water to it, Vito?
You know what? Let me do that right now. Maybe I'll top up a little bit. Why not? Sure, I'll top it up a little
For
bit.
science.
Of course.
Oh, and then the sweetness comes out a little more too.
Daniel, Mitch had a statement more than a question, saying that Daniel Whittington from the Whiskey Vault says that once you put enough peat in something, you begin to taste the subtlety of the peat. You go past just the main flavors of peat and begin to experience some nuances.
Sure.
Okay, I could see that.
Yeah.
You get used to like the primary notes of whatever particular type of peat is used, so you get the background stuff. Makes sense.
Josh, how many drops did you put in?
3. I'm gonna try a few more just for the hell of it.
Right, I put in about 3 in a touch, if that's an actual proper measurement term.
Phoenix Rising in the chat just said it. The 7.1 always reminds him of Burnt Ends.
Oh yes,
it's accurate. I definitely agree with that.
Oh, now I'm hungry.
Nothing like some Burnt Ends.
Now I want some Terry Blacks, some Franklin, something like that.
Honestly, that Terry Blacks, that brisket that we had, that when I came out to Austin was absolutely amazing.
Right, isn't it? That's we took you there immediately from the airport, I think, right?
We did,
nice.
Yeah.
Style Switch.
You did.
Gretchen is mentioning in the chat, also very good.
Oh, Style Switch, yeah, absolutely.
This water ruined it. Didn't ruin it. I shouldn't say that. Let me take that back.
Changes it a lot, for sure.
It definitely changes it.
Yeah. It made it sweeter.
Yeah, no, it's almost like you get this kind of icing sugar, right? Like a frosting. Sort of. Yeah. Which is really, really interesting for such a aggressive whiskey. I gave Octomore to my sister one time, and she's not. I mean, she drinks wine here and there, and she's not a whiskey drinker really by any means. And surprisingly, it's that balance that I always hear Brad talk about. She thought, well, this is really intense and strong, but I don't hate it, right? It's really interesting and complex, but it's got this crazy balance to it that I don't know. It's totally unique in the whiskey world, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely intense, strong flavors, but it's not like harsh and spiky in the sort of normal way that people would call something that, you know, is very harshly like alcohol focused, or, you know, has some other really spiky, harsh notes to it.
Especially for being 5 years old, right?
Yeah. Oh,
that's, you know, that's usually when you find the older a whiskey is, the more sort of rounded off it gets, right? Usually. Not that I would call Octomore rounded off entirely, but for its age.
Yeah, not rounded, but just balanced. Like we say it all the time. It's just super balanced.
Exactly.
It's got the peaks, but it's like the carriage is just steady.
Yeah.
Man, I can't get over the sort of frosting icing sugar.
Yeah, it's weird. That sugary spike that you get with like the what is it? Betty Crocker.
Right, and like a vanilla.
Yeah, definitely just the vanilla. Jason B said that he finds a small cube of ice in a really strong whiskey allows you to have tons of different tasting notes throughout your dram. I mainly do that with super strong 60+ whiskeys.
That's interesting. Yeah, you kind of chill it a little bit at first, and then it melts and dilutes the whiskey slightly as you go.
Yeah, so the ABV is sort of going lower and lower in sort of phases as you drink it, so you're getting different things. I could see that working.
Yeah, something happens sort of as a slow progression over time, right? Instead of just dropping water in there. Interesting.
Yeah. So let's I kind of want to discuss that because I was just going through my head. I have a reservation in adding ice or water when I'm sipping whiskey. And it may be because I'm still relatively new to everything that I want to experience it at what the master distiller deems is good.
Sure.
And challenge myself a little bit. I don't know why like what's your, because I know Josh you rarely ever do it as well, but like what's your reason usually?
I started drinking whiskey bourbon specifically that way. You know, I went from like bourbon mixed up in things, Coke or whatever, to bourbon on the rocks, to bourbon with one single rock, to then drinking it neat. And now it's more about trying to experiment and learn rather than challenge. I guess that challenge is another word, right? But to me, it's more about, okay, if I try this whiskey neat, how is that? And if I add water to it, what does that do? How do I perceive it differently? Like trying to learn more about that specific whiskey and whiskey in general when I do these things. My preference when I'm not trying to focus on it is still to just drink it neat anyway.
Right.
So.
Yeah, pretty much same for me. There are a couple that I might generally put in like a couple of drops of water just because I prefer it. You know, very slightly less ABV or whatever. Like Booker's is a good example. For whatever reason, I get a ton more of the like dark molasses, like brown sugar flavors if I put just a couple of drops of water, and I really like those notes. So, you know, couple drops of water, and I can drink a little bit more Booker's because Booker's has a pretty good kick to it.
Yes, it does. I had somebody at my work ask me, is, you know, word's gotten around that I know and like my whiskey, and somebody came up and said, "So, Booker's, thoughts?" I was like, dangerously drinkable, be careful, especially when it's free, right? Free Booker's.
Free Booker's is the best kind of Booker's, right?
That'll get you.
Really quickly,
Patron, he knows.
Really quickly, the Rockout review mentioned, I'm not too sure the context or if it was in relation to a specific whiskey or in to the Octomores, but also speaking of which, they have a really good review coming up on Friday. So everyone head over to Rockout Reviews subscribe and check them out. Did you guys watch the review that they like the review the
10-second or the like
reaction videos? That was,
I did watch that today. That was pretty hilarious. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was really, really good. I love the concept of that. You guys did a really good job. So yeah, check them out. But yeah, his comment was, water is good, ice not so much. The chill just brings out a bunch of bitter barrel notes and kills the nose.
Yeah, cold turns down the volume on flavors in whiskey and in cooking. I mean, it's like think about eating frozen ice cream versus melted ice cream. The melted ice cream is like overwhelmingly sweet, right? It's like thick syrup, but when it's frozen, it doesn't taste quite as sugary as it actually is because you're kind of numbing your mouth with the cold of it, right?
Yeah, it definitely has a high effect, and depends on the type of whiskey too. Like a lot of bourbon, especially high proof bourbon, will hold up to ice a lot more.
Oh, sure.
And because the flavor profiles sort of typically in bourbon is a little more narrow than Scotch and things like that, you might be muting some of the flavors, but you're not losing as much subtlety because they didn't start with as much subtlety. In the sort of scope of the flavor profile of the bourbon.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I have something for the chat here. I'm just going to pop that in there. It's a poll you guys can go check out. Just I'm going to go put that in here right now and go ahead and go cast your vote. We want to know, we know that Vito is a tiny Italian and also a whiskey pixie, but if he were a Mario brother, which one would he be? Would it be Mario?
God damn it.
Or Luigi. Cast your votes now. Get on the poll. We're going to see who wins. Mario, Luigi. Now remember, Luigi was always the one that like the little brother had to play. That's always player 2, right? Like Mario is the hero. He gets the princess. So.
God damn it.
This is how science is done.
You just have to come up with a poll to bust my balls next time.
Yeah. Don't worry. I got a good one.
Okay.
Let's. I want to just go through a couple more comments here. Patrick said that he has only found one whiskey that worked with him with water, and that was Abuna. We were actually, me and him were talking about that last night. He was having some, and we were discussing water. He really liked the Abelor with the water, so that's cool.
Yeah.
John says that he's trying the Elijah Craig barrel proof for the first time, and wow, straight out of the bottle is intense. I'm liking just a tiny bit of water to bring down the alcohol heat. And it goes back to what Brad was saying with bourbons and American whiskeys. Seems to work a little bit better for bringing down that one specific note.
Yeah. At least on average. I mean, there's always going to be exceptions to things, but on average, it seems to work a little bit better.
Well, and that's the point of try it, right?
Yeah. I mean,
add a little drops of water.
Give it a try. If
you don't like it with that whiskey, then don't do it again the next time.
Exactly. And if you really like it, then do it all the time.
Yep. So the one we all have in common next is the 10-year, correct?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Are you done your 7.1?
Mostly. I was going to leave just a tiny bit.
Okay. I have a little tiny bit that I'll leave as well.
So we got this one. This is a Octomore 10-year. There's different releases of this. There's a few different editions. I have the 2016 second release of it. I don't know if you guys have exactly the same one or not.
Well, I have the one that Brad has, so he would have to.
Let's see.
Gotcha.
Tell me, we don't always get that info in Canada, so let's see.
Also, I'm curious because I remember, I forget who said it, but I think it was Mike. Is that Mike? Regardless, using an alcohol to cleanse the palate after strong whiskeys or alcohols. And the person that I was watching the video said gin was really good. Do you guys know anything about that, or have you heard of it?
I've never tried that.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see how that could work.
I'm gonna.
This does look like it's the 2016 second limited release. So
I'm gonna grab my botanist bottle and do a little shot to cleanse my.
You know what? I'll do the same because I'm still tasting it. I mean, of course,
Yeah.
Octomore lingers forever. I'll do a tiny bit of that as well. That seems like it would work. It kind of resets. There it is, right in front. So I saw in the chat Ryan, who is he's a local Austin magnificent bastard, who I just saw on Monday nights, along with James Bricker. Did anybody water down their blend at Balcones, or did they leave it at cast strength? Of course, they were talking about the blending class that Ryan and Jared and I went to and made our own Balcones single malt blends. I think everybody left it at cast strength. I mean, I know I did. I think you two guys did. I don't recall anybody. There were a few people who decided to not blend at least one of their bottles and just pick a single barrel and just leave it at that. I thought kind of defeated the point of the class a little. But
so Jeremy Sims in the chat just said the gin thing is a rumor. It'll just get you drunk quicker.
That's the whole point of the stream.
I guess we'll find out. Because science.
All right.
Are you gonna shoot it or just gonna sip it, Josh?
I think I'm just going to take a sip or two and kind of be done.
Well, that's no fun.
That won't get you drunk any quicker.
I have 2 more Octomores to sip on. I'll be fine.
True.
So we of course we've shouting out the Rock Gut review, and of course Roy Akavite, amazing.
What a star that gentleman is.
A star all day long. But there's one other channel, a local guy that lives just a little bit outside Austin. I wanted to give a little shout out. It's called Whiskey and Barbecue. If you want to, like, even right now, just go over, subscribe to those guys. They do a whiskey review. I think it's once a week on Wednesdays, I believe. I think they put one out today that was on the black end of the Metallica whiskey. Oh. And then they also do mostly grilling and barbecue smoking videos over the weekend. So you get a little bit of like whiskey tasting. It's a group of mostly 3 guys that get together and drink whiskey and talk about it. And then you get one of them. It's a pretty good chef, and he really knows how all of his grilling and barbecue techniques and stuff. So that's a cool channel. Go check it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that as soon as we're done this, because you mentioned it just before we came on. Mentioned to me just before we came on chat, and no time because we were too busy preparing this professional production.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's so much different than the 7.1.
The 10-year? Oh yeah,
for sure.
Oh boy, this is my first time having the 10. I think. No, it's not. I was really drunk though the first time, so that doesn't count.
There you go. Yeah, I find that with heavily peated whiskeys especially, that the longer they age, the more the peat gets kind of turned down. This is supposedly less heavily peated anyway. It's at 167 ppm versus 208 on the 7.1, so a bit of a difference. But really, I think the extra time in the cask tends to turn down the smoke and peat notes a little more, although they're still there. They're still definitely there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I want to bring something to our attention really quickly, and I keep on intervening, which I'm not going to apologize for, because whatever. But Mr. Whiskey Wise, Mitch Weddle, says that screw gin and the horse it rode in on. It smells like pine sol and tastes similar.
Yeah, that's we know Mitch is not a gin fan. I'm not I like some,
but he has like since I used to really like gin, and then there was a period of my life where I stopped liking it because it led to too many mistakes in my early 20s. But the botanist is just wonderful. I'm not sure if I've had it before, but it's so nice.
I mean, I had high expectations of it anyway, just being Bricklottie products. But really, I think objectively, it's kind of a unique and exceptional gin. So if you're not a big gin fan, it's not super like piney or junipery. I mean, it's really nice.
Yeah. Jason B once again with a couple of shots. What if we just love Brad and are kind of met on the other two?
You'd be wrong.
That's fair.
You'd just be wrong, is what you'd be. That's
Well, I'm met on myself, and I love Brad, so it's mute. We're the same way.
so it's a wash, is what you're saying. It's fine.
The Mike Lissack. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name right. Was it Mike? Who said that? No, Steve A. My apologies, Mike. If I missed the question before, redo it. But Steve A. The glass I'm using is the Magnificent Bastard glass from the Whiskey Vault. Unless you were talking about my shot glass, it's a shot glass from Ibiza.
Oh,
yeah,
party boy,
fancy.
Yeah, it was brought back to me. I've never been to Ibiza, but I like to tell people that I have been. But I guess now the cat's out of the bag. The bag's out of the cat.
The bag's out of the cat. I hope
the bag's
why was the
outside
bag in the cat?
car.
That's not where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, there goes Vito again, putting bags in cats.
Can't take him anywhere.
Thoughts on the 10? Thoughts on the 10-year-old?
Well, just to appease Ryan, it's real good.
Yeah, it is real good.
It's definitely more like flowery in a interesting way than the 7.1.
I get a lot more of like a caramel or butterscotch kind of thing on it, which makes a lot of sense, right? You know, more time in the barrel.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. I'm a little taken aback by just how different it is. Yeah, no, it's really good.
Different. You can definitely get a little bit of the bitterness from the barrel, but like it's sweet enough that like it's not harsh. You can just tell that it's a little bit older of a thing.
I think when people talk about bitterness in a whiskey, that's like that sounds off-putting, right? But that's a balance to the sweetness if it's done right. Like you should be able to pick up on it, but it shouldn't be off-putting.
Like it's not bitter, but I could just like I could taste a little bit of like that was sitting in a barrel for quite a while.
Right. Yeah, no, that's.
It has like a nice like a Talisker level of brine to it.
Sure, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
the nose doesn't have as much peat and smoke to it to me as the 7.1 by far. It's much more muted on the nose, and then you take a sip and you're like, oh, there it is.
Yeah. It's like just nicely muted down to like a more approachable level.
Yeah, it's definitely mellowed, but I mean that's relative to the
it's
to the regular
mellow.
That's right.
You give it to someone who isn't used to whiskey, like, what the hell are you trying to kill me? What's going on?
I mean, let's compare it to something else, right? Like say a Corey Brecken. You think it's more aggressive than Corey Brecken or less?
I would say that it's less spiky than Corey Brecken.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been a long time since I've had the Corey Brecken, so I can't really say. But
I love Corey Brecken. It's one of my favorite
salty
whiskeys.
as the Corey Brecken.
And keep in mind too, I mean, this is post a pour of 7.1.
True.
Right? So we're already, sort of. I mean, Octomore is a palate wrecker.
Yeah.
For sure.
From the get-go, right?
Yeah.
Though that gin really did help. Mitch.
So you say.
One more sip here. Let's see.
Just what a drunk would say.
So you guys I saw it on the Whiskey Tribe Facebook group a little bit today, a little bit yesterday, I think, about the whiskey, although we know it's not whiskey technically, but they were calling it whiskey in the article that was made from diabetic urine.
I thought that was a joke.
I looked it up. It seems okay. I put minutes of research into it.
Dozens of seconds of research.
It's very scientific, very professional as usual. But
Absolutely.
It appears to be a thing that's been done. Of course, yes, that's not whiskey. You're not malting pee, right? You might have a wee dram, if you know what I mean.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Josh.
A wee dram, am I right?
I want to put a bag over my head right now.
Just get it out of the cat first.
You don't want to use a cat bag for that. That's the smell alone. Whew.
Oh my god.
Jeremy was saying it is a joke. I mean, I suspected it would probably be a joke, but I saw like 3 or 4 articles showing bottles that you could buy that stuff, and I was like, maybe that's real. I don't know.
People make things with all kinds of weird stuff, man. And there's like breast milk ice cream and all like.
Yep, there's beer fermented with weird things.
Weirder things have happened for sure.
How's that poll looking, by the way? I think we forgot about it.
Oh, I haven't forgotten. I was just going to let it set for a minute and go, oh, okay, there's no contest. Okay, what do you think the results were? There were 16 votes, right?
That's it, 16.
16 votes.
28 people are in here. Guys.
Slackers.
I could post it one more time, but
let's give it another couple minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, Jason doesn't even know about it.
Okay, so here's the poll. We're trying to figure out which of the Mario brothers, our tiny Italian, our whiskey pixie, Vito, is he Mario or is he Luigi? So we'll give it another couple minutes. Yeah, I like this. I like the 10-year, man.
Like a rich French vanilla.
Yeah, it's nice, and there's some added complexity there. Whereas the 7.1 is great for a very, in-your-face punch, but there's some nice complexity I think that gets added by the extra 5 years in the barrel.
Definitely.
Interesting. Yeah. I really like this 10, and I'm really upset that I only have maybe 2 pours of it left.
Oh, really? Yeah, mine feels pretty light as well. Well, maybe about half.
Mine is pretty light. There's some left, but not a lot.
Jason B said, "Would Vito be more Waluigi?" We discussed this.
Right. I can see where you would say that.
I am not tall or lanky enough to be Waluigi.
All right. So you're out of Octomore options now, right?
Me? Yeah, I may blend the 2.
That's a good idea.
It's interesting.
And then because my palate's ruined, just stick with the 7.1, I guess.
There you go. But Brad has one more, correct?
I do. I have an 8.1.
I have 7.3 and 8.3. Now, 8.3 is supposed to be, it's this guy, supposed to be, I think, the most heavily peated in terms of measuring ppm that's ever been created. I think that's right. It's a little different bottle, too. This is one of the master class bottlings. So I think
the 8.3s were after, his name escapes me. The original master distiller left. The 8.3s were released with the new master distiller.
Okay.
That's why they rebranded it as master class.
Gotcha.
And the new Port Charlotte have been rebranded as master class ones as well, if I'm not mistaken.
So this is the of course, the presentation on this guy, the frosted glass, get out of here. That's amazing, right?
It does look great.
Versus the black ones are really sexy, but these just come on. Beautiful, super cool looking. And then they get even more detailed on it, which I love. If you're going to nerd out on whiskey, the more transparent details you can get, kind of the better I feel about it. So this goes down to it's from Octomore Farm, the barley from Isla, and it goes down to the field. This was in Church Field on Octomore Farm on Isla, and aged 5 years, just like the other 7.1 and the 7.3 that I have there. But yeah, it goes up to 309 ppm and 61.2%. So that is a hell of a whiskey right there.
Yeah. Really quickly answering to Mike Lissack, Octomore is out of Bruichladdich, so it's just they've just branded it as Octomore.
Right. So if anybody is not familiar, Bruichladdich has the Bruichladdich line is unpeated, right? Like Classic Laddie and others in that range that are labeled with the distillery name.
Yeah.
And then you have Port Charlotte. Port Charlotte's kind of their, say, regular peated range. And then Octomore is kind of the experimental, super heavily peated range. And as well as the Botanist Gin we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
Also made there.
Botanist Gin, if you like gin, yes, I recommend it. I think we all do.
Absolutely.
Also, if you're feeling really daring, blend a splash each of the Botanist Gin and an Octomore, preferably the 7.1, and you'll get drunk real quick. But it's also reminiscent of like raw bacon strips being put on a grill, and you get that rush of bacon flavor right in your face.
Yeah,
that's what it tastes like. Just fresh bacon, delicious.
So I'm gonna add 3 drops of water to my 10-year here, just like I did with the 7.1. We'll see what that does to it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that with this one.
I'm just switching to 8.1.
Oh yeah, that makes all the smoke jump out on the nose right there. Where I was having trouble finding it, at least as obviously as the 7.1. I was having trouble getting it before, but yeah, interesting.
So Jason B said, didn't ask, said, "You look fairly tall on camera," referencing like talking to me. Must be the angle. It really is the angle.
I can promise you he's not.
If you've ever met Daniel Whittington or anyone 5'8" or shorter, I am shorter than that.
That's right. You are
like 5'7" and 7'8". 7/8, yeah.
I mean, they don't call you the Wixie Pixie for nothing.
And if anyone's curious how that came about, Rex Williams from the Whiskey Vault joined the chat last week and christened me with an official name. Because I was
that is the proper term, I think.
Because I was silly enough to ask for a name, and
that's on you.
Big time. So
it's great though because Vito just owns it.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's only one way to handle something like that. So.
Yes, apparently I said Wixie instead of whiskey.
Wixie.
The Whiskey Pixie.
I mean, you could say like the Whiskey Pixie.
Good.
Whiskey? Really? And my joke was bad?
It would be a little weird, but you could.
It's just a bunch of bad jokes tonight on Catch Strength, and
as per usual.
So, yeah, I actually don't know that I like adding. I rather liked adding water to the 7.1. It did bring out a lot of sweetness, and kind of towards the when I added water a second time, it almost made it too sweet for me. But I don't really like it on the 10-year nearly as much. It does bump up the smoke, but it also bumps up the bitterness in a way that I don't like. So, which is interesting. You'd think that they would behave similarly, but I don't know. At least to me right now, it doesn't. So, I've got again the 0.3s. The 0.3s, I think, generally are some kind of wine cask finished, things like that, if I remember correctly.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
Let's say you're right.
Yeah, I think that's right. It's
Let's
probably a mix of wine
assume
cap.
that you're right, and if not, we can make retractions next time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll totally correct ourselves next time. But anyway, they do interesting things rather than sort of more traditional aging. There's cask finishing and things going on with the 0.3s, which one of my top 5 for sure whiskeys of all time is that 7.3 right here. Blows me away with how complex and unique and just interesting that it is. I've got 2/3 of a bottle left, and I think I need to track down another one before I run out because it's really just that amazing. And I've had the 8.3 before. Obviously, this isn't, it's been opened. So I've sampled them both. 8.3 is also amazing, but to me, 7.3 is kind of where it's at.
Yeah. Well, this 8.1 is pretty damn good. I got to say, I think I like the 10-year better, but the 8.1 is it's very like salted ham just on like the back end, even like it's
so before I pour, I haven't had it in a while. I think I'm gonna go with the 7.3. Before we do that though, checking back in on the poll, we got 94% voted for Luigi.
Oh boy.
You got one vote for Mario.
I swear
know who it was.
That wasn't me.
you voted for yourself, I bet. Sure.
I swear it wasn't me.
sure.
So I'm Luigi, the whiskey pixie.
I guess. I'm not sure how that works, but all right. Okay.
I have so many names. I went from none to many.
So many. Yeah, you have so many nicknames now, actually. More than anyone, I think.
Does that make me special?
Oh, definitely. Of course.
Yay, I'm special.
Steve either knows or looked it up for us, saying the 8.3 is finished in assorted wine casks. Yeah, that's what I thought. It was. I think that's true of both of them. Generally, any of the 0.3s have some sort of cask finish like that.
I think the 9s moved away from that. If I'm not mistaken, the 9-point Octomores.
Yeah, they are doing something different with that. I don't remember what it is, but I haven't seen them in stores yet. I know there's a few stores around in Austin that are supposed to be getting them in December, supposedly. But
Sweet.
Ed's saying 7.3 Spanish wine cast. There you go. Maybe that explains why I love it so much, because I tend to like Spanish wine.
There you go.
This is completely different than we didn't discuss this at all, but I thought this would be a good opportunity to ask the chat something. So we've been adding in weekend Fiddly Bits videos, doing reviews and visits to breweries and distilleries are coming up and whatnot. But I want to ask and source whiskey rating terms. So I want to source 5 names from you guys, and obviously going from bad to really freaking good. So like 1 being I'd never buy this whiskey, I'd throw it into the garbage, a la Canadian Mist or Hague Club, and 5 being an Octomore or something insanely amazing that you have to get your hands on again. Right. So I want to try and differentiate a little bit from tribe terms, though. So like Dolphin Smooth. I wouldn't. If
you're talking about a rating scale, not so much not so much descriptor words like smooth or spiky or peaty or etc. Right? Yeah. You're wanting more. I hated it. I'll never buy it again. Oh, if it was on sale, I might buy it again. I have to have this all the time. I'll never be without a bottle in my collection.
Yeah.
Right? And everything in between there, right? Because most people do. It's a 1 to a 5 or a 1 to 10. I like that. Save for the in-laws.
Save for the in-laws. I kind of I don't mind that actually. That's kind of cool.
I like it.
I wouldn't gargle with this. unicorn blood.
I like unicorn blood.
I'm going to assume, knowing Christina, that unicorn blood means amazing.
Smooth like buttered glass.
Whoa.
That's insanely descriptive.
Yep.
Whoop.
I'm going to go ahead and pour some of this 7.3 here.
Yeah, go for it, guys. While I just kind of survey the chat while everyone's kind of... oh, there we go. Jeff Patron. 0 toilet, 1 hogwash, 2 ham water, 3 salami, 4 watermelon, and salt, 5 bacon.
I mean, I'm basically drinking ham water right now, and it's delicious. I don't know what
pretty much.
So complex, Brudner runs out of words. That's it. That's it. That's it. Point. Yep. So that's number 5. So complex, Brudner runs out of words. That's Allah. Jesus Christ. That is from James Dennis, Toronto resident.
A fellow Torontonian, is that the correct Torontonian?
Torontonian.
Is that the correct term?
Sure. Just for you.
Just for me?
Yeah.
That's special. All right. So the presentation on this guy, this is a different field on Octomore Farm, the Lorgba field. 169 ppm, again, 5 years, and 63%. And most importantly, the super cool frosted bottle.
Oh, sorry. I gotta. Sorry, Josh. Steve A, and I think we might use this or tweak it a little bit. Said the rating scale should be not whiskey, 40%, 43%, 46% cast strength whiskey.
Ooh, using the ABV scale.
I kind of like that.
I do kind of like that.
I like that. Could work.
Although that could be confusing, right? Like if you're rating a whiskey and you start saying like, oh, well, this one's 46%.
Well, we'd have to kind of come up with like a graphic of some sort saying on the on the percentage scale, this rates 46% on our rating. It could probably do something like that. I think we can do it.
Yeah.
Probably make it work.
The winner gets a personalized pair of pants from me.
Ooh, personalized. You're into that business now? You get on webcams and send people your pants that you've worn through the internet? Is that what you do?
I've worn a different pair of pants for every live stream, and they're all hanging ready to send out at a moment's notice.
See, what you need to do is you need to show people which pants you're wearing. That way they know they can match it up to the episode.
Oh, YouTube is going to shut us down.
I'll pass on the pants, thanks, though. Oh, Steve, don't break my heart, man.
Aw.
But you can just resell them. It's fine.
They just have a little bit of pixie dust in there.
Or the like a Glencairn scale, 1 Glencairn to 5 Glencairns. We could probably, that's a nice one.
Sure.
Easy.
Yeah. This 7.3, man. I swear it's just magnificent.
Bedazzled with pixie dust. Yes, exactly. Jason Unsworth.
Brad got review. Ed's got to get out of here. Good night, Ed.
Yeah. Good night, Ed.
Yeah, we could use the Brad scale. We could go from not nice, kind of nice, nice, real nice, real nice.
Real good.
Sure.
Good, yeah, real good.
We could do that.
Okay, so you have the 7.3, right, Josh?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Brad, what do you got?
8.1.
8.1. I'm gonna do the blend of the 10-year and the 7.1. I guess I'll put it in the magnificent bastard glass. It is a fairly magnificent blend.
I mean, this brings me to some Adam Brudner-esque tasting notes. actually, which is not normally, I normally can't pull that off, but this reminds me of, have you ever had bacon wrapped dates?
Yes.
No, I've never had a date before.
Dates or maybe figs? Some
Figs,
kind of
yes.
like dark fruit like that, right? Like wrapped in bacon and then grilled over a wood fire.
God damn
So
it.
you see what I'm saying? But okay, hold on. So it's the fig with like the fruity, dark fruit sweetness. The bacon's meaty, salty, briny. Then you get the smoke from the fire that it's being grilled on, and then you pair it with some strong cheese. Amazing.
Okay. All right. That sounds good.
Yeah. Oh, it's like posh hors d'oeuvres in a whiskey.
Nice.
How about that 8.1?
It's good. It's not as complex, I think, as what you're describing. But yeah, it's very sort of salted pork, salted ham kind of a vibe to it, with a sweetness that it's not like that icing sugar that I was getting on the 10, but there's definitely like a sweet floral thing going on in the background, but it's more in the background, where like with the 10, that's kind of the more forward part.
Right. Steve,
sort of
absolutely.
reverse.
Almond stuff, bacon wrapped dates. He knows what I'm talking about. Yeah, if you can still find this around, I mean, I'd just buy it on site. If you've never had it before, don't even question it. If you're into
we don't get a lot of
interesting,
them in
complex
Canada.
peaty whiskey, like, do it.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of the Octomores showing up in Ontario, so I've snatched them up every time that I've seen a new one.
Sure, yeah.
How's that blend treating you there, Vito?
Not that great.
Really?
The two are better by themselves. It ruined the balance of both of them. And we've talked about this before, just the balance that they've achieved with each individual release. That you do anything to sort of like tweak it a bit, and it kind of just falls apart a little bit. Not that it's bad, it's just I would much rather have the 7.1 by itself or the 10 by itself. This kind of falls a little bit short of both of them.
I could see that.
I'm liking Mitch's scale. Undrinkable, mixer, unoffensive, have it on hand, and try before you die.
I do like that a lot.
Yeah.
Right, get that man a pair of pants.
Yeah, so I'd rather have the two by themselves.
Sure.
That's fair.
I'm not sure I've ever added water to this whiskey, so again, I'm going to give that a go.
Do we want to put up that picture tonight?
We could do that.
Let's put up this picture. So, for everyone watching, we saw a really interesting post on the Whiskey Tribe Facebook group that kind of allowed you to, build your own kung fu name. And we thought it would be a kind of a cool thing for everyone watching or haven't seen it before, to put in the chat what your name is. You pick your favorite color, your birth month, and your birth date, and that creates your kung fu name, which should be kind of fun. Mine was the legendary Deadly Panther, which is
the legendary what panther?
The legendary Deadly Panther.
Deadly Panther, gotcha.
Let's see here. So mine would be Holy Flame of the Invincible Boar.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
Y'all are gonna have to say I can't actually see that where I'm at.
What's your favorite color?
Let's go black.
Black. Okay, so in day.
What?
day.
Oh, you're breaking up there a little bit, Vito.
Am I back?
I think
There you go.
I think
There
you're
you
back
go.
now, yeah.
Your birth month and your birthday.
August 7th.
The holy flame of the crouching swordsman.
All together now?
Holy flame of the crouching swordsman.
Oh, that's the whole thing? Okay. Wow, that's pretty epic.
Yep.
What do we got in the chat? We've got Ryan says he's the legendary Mahala. Mahala is the legendary drunken guillotine.
Nice.
I would say that makes a lot of sense. Let's see.
Patron
We've
is
got
master of the silent venom.
Fist of the Drunken Crane is Mitch. Fantastic.
Maria M, the one-armed sleeping falcon. Very nice.
Yeah, we knew Christina already was Holy Flame of the Iron Fury, which I think also makes a lot of sense.
Daniel Treadwell's holy flame of the sleeping arm. Jeez.
Ross Flood, the one-armed drunken snake.
Oh, Ian's is the one-armed unseen serpent. That's suggestive a little bit.
I mean, I can visualize some of these. Like, I'm trying to visualize a one-armed drunken snake right now, and that's pretty amazing. Like, he's had too much Octomore. What else do we have here? The blind unseen spider, James Dennis. We got Holy Flame of the Golden Spider, Phoenix Rising. One-armed flying claw, Jason. Yeah, we got some great Kung Fu names in here.
Maria was one-armed sleeping falcon. I don't know if we got that one already. That's kind of funny.
Wu-Tang.
Fist of the Drunken Crane. That's so what is that? That's Karate Kid, isn't that?
The crane kick?
Yeah.
Like the steel, right? Yeah. What was the guy's name in Karate Kid? The actor.
The actor? Oh.
Yeah.
God, I should know this.
What was his name? Oh, this is gonna bug the hell out of me. Of course, I could like Google it, but that would be cheating.
No, that's cheating.
I mean, Mr. Miyagi and Daniel-san.
Ralph Macchio.
Ralph Macchio, that's the one.
Macchio.
That's right.
And William Zabka as the bad guy.
Bad guy's coming.
So I added a little water to this Octomore, the 7.3, and actually didn't really change that much. I could try adding a little more, but it really didn't seem to do a whole lot. The smoke got a little more pronounced, and oils came to the top, sort of thing, but
right.
Didn't really blow my mind.
All right. What are we finishing off with for the Fiddly Bits? I wanna kind of wrap up a little bit. Sorry to be a little bit pushy. I gotta do blood work tomorrow morning, so I gotta stop drinking and doing stuff.
Okay.
Do they test for peat levels in your blood work?
I'm really afraid of what when I answer my doctor's question of how often do you drink? A lot. Yeah, it's I'm curious to see what the recent increase in whiskey has done to my health. I'll report back when I get all the results, I guess.
Excellent.
A little decline in physical health, a little increased mental health, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens. Oh boy! I mean, I'm not excited for the blood work. For those squeamish, I'm sorry. I faint every time.
Oh really?
Yeah, I do not handle needles really well.
Oh.
Which people, whenever I'm there, and I tell them like, yeah, I don't take like I need to be on the bed. Otherwise, like I'll pass out. They're like, but they see my arm, and it's just like, but you got tattoos. I'm like, yeah, that's a different kind of needle. It's not removing blood from my body.
Yeah,
It's a completely different thing.
It's a far larger, more painful needle that I deal with for many, many hours instead of a couple of seconds. It's
like
super
sprinting
different.
versus a long distance run.
I like Kilojolt's comment in the chat. Ask me how often I don't drink instead.
I like it.
That's probably what I'm gonna have to tell him. Like, you better ask me when don't I drink. So we'll see. But do we got Fiddly Bits?
Sure. Yeah.
What are we finishing off with, by the way?
Drink wise?
Yeah.
I mean, I could
still got
pour.
0.1, so that's what I'm.
I want suggestions from the chat. Y'all can see what's behind me there.
Yeah. It can see mine too, so maybe. Well, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah. You can do something completely different, not Octomore.
My monkey shoulder.
I guess I could play that 8.3, but that's like, man.
Gretchen says Canadian Hunter for you. John G
trying to
said
get
monkey
people to
shoulder.
drink the Hunter, man.
John didn't watch our stream last week. I bottled down the monkey shoulder last week, so I have no more, which kind of sucks. Also, we didn't do something. We're gonna play a really quick game of Shag, Marry, Kill Whiskey Edition.
Oh shit! Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
So we're all gonna pick this for Josh.
Yeah.
Actually, we're gonna do all three of us the same ones. Shag, Marry, Kill. Ardbeg Ugadal. Octomore 7.1. Octomore 10.
Damn you.
We're gonna make this really difficult.
You can't make me choose.
You're gonna have to. Which one are you killing? Which one are you marrying? Which one are you gonna have a nice one-night stand with?
Huh. Okay. I'm gonna say you shag the 10. Well, I'm gonna shag the 7.1. Gonna marry the Ugadal, and I'm going to kill the 10-year.
Okay, Brad.
Because the Ugadal, I'm gonna marry the Ugadal because you can find it. It's reliable. It's interesting. It's not boring. It's a beautiful, beautiful whiskey, but it's not some like unicorn that's hard to find. I feel like if Octomore was if you were married to Octomore would be like a little full of itself, maybe.
I'm with Jeffrey Patron on this polyamorous relationship with the 7.1 and the Ugadal. No judgments, man. No, I think I'm with Josh. I would marry the Oogie, shag the 7.1, and kill the 10. Yeah. That's rough though, man. That's
tough.
I'd rather all live in a commune,
can I just become like a whiskey Mormon and marry all of them?
Exactly.
I had to make it hard this time because last week we made it way too easy.
Yeah,
we could all just pick different ones and become whiskey swingers,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go. Just shag them all.
Yeah.
So I'm going to shag the Ugadal. I'm going to marry the 7.1, and I'm going to kill the 10-year.
All right.
Vito wants to marry a feisty one, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I could see that.
I like that little bit of feistiness that'll put me in my place every now and then.
Yeah, you need to keep a little spice in there, huh?
Yeah,
sure.
Fair enough.
Someone that'll talk back to me just a little bit when I get out of line.
Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, okay. So let's that I kind of like that little game. So I think we might do that.
That is a fun game.
Yeah,
for sure.
Ryan asked if we have any plans for the infamous Advent calendar. Daniel, Whiskey Vault's going to be doing a video every day with the Advent calendar stuff. So I think that's really my plan for it. Is I've got it sitting over here next to me. Everybody's seen the pictures. That's what attracted me to buying it in the first place. The main thing that made me go over the edge and shell out the money for it was the month-long drink along, right? That sounds pretty awesome. So I think the Advent calendar will be me, and Gretchen said she wants to try every one as well. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So we'll sit down, we'll put on the video, we'll pour the whiskey, and and drink along with Daniel. And yeah, I think that's going to be our plan for it. Probably not try and wedge that into our show.
Yeah, that's pretty much my plan too. Maybe do some like weekly recaps of what I liked and didn't like or whatever.
Yeah, we could probably do that, like just Wednesday
things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move to Fiddly Bits and get out of here.
Yeah. Mine would be, there is a cool podcast, and you can again watch it on YouTube, just like us. But I believe it's actually on a radio station as well in Houston, called Whiskey Neat. Okay. And so I've been doing some work writing, for working on some stuff for distilleries here, and I needed to know a little bit more about Iron Root Republic Distillery, which is in Denison, Texas, just north of Dallas, run by two brothers, the Licorice Brothers, who we got to meet in Austin during the Crowded Barrel opening. Really cool guys, and I'm really liking what they're doing with their whiskey. They're doing a bunch of interesting stuff, and so they brought Robert Licorice in there, and for an hour, I think it was an hour 15 maybe, sat down with him and I forget the guy's name, but he's the head of the Bourbon Society in Houston, and then the host of the show, Whiskey Neat. And it was just a really, really eye-opening, interesting conversation, and I learned all kinds of details about what Iron Root is doing, experiments they're doing, their approach to making bourbon and making corn whiskey up there, and other things. And it was just a really fascinating conversation. I got all kinds of information out of it. It was almost like research for me, and just a cool thing. Even if you put it on in the background, check it out. So you can go to their Facebook page, Whiskey Neat. I really enjoyed it.
Cool. Very cool.
Brad, anything?
Mine, with all of the traveling that I've been doing the last couple of weeks, I gotta say the largest fiddly bit that I own would be the new Tesla Model 3 that I got a few weeks back.
Yeah,
that has helped me survive the massive amount of traveling that I've been doing by basically driving itself most of the time, which has been amazing. Super minimalistic. I love it. It's awesome in every way. Vito got to sit in it.
Yeah, I did, and
but I didn't have the plates yet, so we couldn't go for a drive when he was here. But it's just super comfy and nice, and it feels like you're driving like a weird future rocket ship. It's craziness.
Yeah, that's the pictures you've sent us have looked pretty awesome, man. I'm more than a little bit jealous of that. So
one of these days I'll do just like a massive road trip down to Austin with it.
Yeah.
It'll take a couple of days though.
Yeah, swing through Toronto, pick up Vito, exactly. Pick up Adam.
Exactly. Yeah, just pick up people along the way, pick up, drop off, do little hangouts along the way, whatever. There's all kinds of fun stuff.
We probably need about 2-3 weeks of that.
Yeah.
We don't work. It's okay.
It's fine. Whatever. How about you, Vito?
All right. I'm gonna do a podcast. If you guys like sports, specifically NFL football, and you'll like some comedy injected in there, the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project, hosted by Anthony Jeselnik, comedian extraordinaire, and Greg Rosenthal from NFL Media. They do a joint podcast together where they just kind of get together once a week, talk a little bit about the games, but just spew nonsense towards each other, and it's a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite podcasts, and there was about a 2 or 3 year hiatus, and they finally got it back on air because of complications concerning some of the content, which makes it really kind of the content's why it's so cool. But they got shut down by the NFL, and they moved over to Comedy Central to the podcast. So it's a lot of fun. If you like sports and you like dark humor, check it out. It's a lot of fun. So that's the Jeselnik and Rosenthal Vanity Project. Jared. So yeah, that's my fiddly bit.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah. And I guess with that,
it can fit a good 5 people, easy. It's you know, 6. I mean, Vito's tiny. He can sit on somebody's lap. It's fine.
So it has a front trunk, right? Like Vito can go in the front trunk.
Just right at the in the front trunk. Sure, that'll be a little bit of a squeeze, but sure, it's fine.
It'll be okay.
Yeah, I'll survive. Yeah, I'll sit on Lance.
Perfect.
There you go.
All right, so shall we get out of here?
I guess so.
All right. Okay, so I guess before we end off, while we still have a good amount of people in the chat, we're aiming for every Wednesday now. Thursdays are extreme backup days. So expect the stream every Wednesday night, same time. But we'll let everyone know early in the week if something comes up. But we think we're all, the 3 of us are in agreement that Wednesdays are doable going forward, right?
Yeah. I think the only reason it would change is if somebody has, some kind of special commitment or something like that. We're going to try and keep it consistent.
Someone keeps leaving the country randomly for weeks on end. Some kind of
whatever. We got on fine without you when you were on the run.
I'm surprised you had me back.
we were debating firing you on air, so you made it through an entire episode, so I think we'll keep you around.
Sweet.
Sweet. I just want to say real quick, Dan Dewberry, I just saw in the chat. Great to have you in here. Dan Dewberry, I'm going to his house on Saturday for what looks to be a pretty awesome Scotch tasting party. So very excited for that. I need to still pick up. I'm bringing Kleinleach 14, one of my favorite whiskeys. So
that is a tasty one.
Yeah, it's really, really good. So see you guys on Saturday. Cheers.
All right. Yeah. So I guess let's get out of here. Thanks everyone for joining us. It's been a lot of fun. You guys are the reason we keep coming back, and hope you're enjoying our company and our rambling and the obscene amount of knowledge and professionalism that we provide.
Absolutely professional.
Yeah. So so stay safe, stay classy. We'll see you next week. Sancha.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.